Yeah, we're so glad you're here. Oh, we're so glad to be together in unity. Restaurants, and they have to make reservations, they have to wait in line. You don't have to do that here. You can come here and wait in line.
That's right.
For your food. So just bring something delicious and that reminds you of Easter. You know, somebody's got to make some deviled eggs. Right?
Yeah. And of course, that will kickstart off the potlucks, the monthly potlucks that we have through the summer and fall. That'll be the first one. So, all right, we're going to continue with our holy conversations that we started last week. Did anyone find what we shared last week helpful at all this week? Okay, good. There are more handouts on the back table as you leave if you'd like to get one. It's the same as last week's because we're finishing up this week. So last week we talked about 3 main points. The first one being that your truth is not a threat, even if it feels like one. The second point was you don't have to defend what you're still exploring. And the third one was hard conversations are not battles, they're dancing lessons. So this morning we're going to cover point 4, and then we're going to open it up for you to ask your questions about having hard conversations. Does that sound good? All right. So,
yeah.
Point 4.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I'm giving you a drum roll. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, another title for this talk is how to talk with people without being angry or making them mad.
Yeah.
Right? How many know we live in a day and a time and an hour where people are upset about a lot of stuff, right? They're upset, mad, angry. And, you know, it's understandable, you know. How many know that it's okay to be angry? Really? Yes. Absolutely. You don't want to deny it and suppress it. You want to what? Express it in a positive way. Say it with me. Oh. You want to express any emotion. If you don't express it and let it go, let it out, then it's going to, you'll either stifle it and it becomes something, whether it's an emotional burden, whether it's a mental burden or a physical burden. Mm-hmm. So it's important to express because energy, everything is made of energy, right? And that's all emotion is. It's energy in motion. So you want to release, which is what we're talking about, right? Yeah.
The Lenten season, yeah.
So, but number 4 is you are not responsible for the other person's transformation. Say it with me. Thank you. Do you ever have people in your life that you want to see change, but you want to make the changes for them? You want to push them a little bit or maybe a lot, right? Do you have people in your life like that? Well, you're not responsible for another person's transformation because, see, it's all an inside job. It's inner work. And you can't do that for them. Only they can do it. Now, you can be a model. You can be an example, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't do the work for somebody else. Say it with me. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And you cannot heal, convince, or awaken anyone else. You can only love them, honor them, and live your truth in front of them. Their spiritual journey belongs to Leah. Right?
No wonder I feel so burdened. No.
Your only job is to tend your own garden.
Belongs to them.
And leave the gate open.
Yeah.
Right? You leave the gate open. Some of us are walking around with a sign around our necks that says, "Leave me alone." I was driving through the neighborhood one day around over here, and What did the sign say?
I don't know.
It said something about leave me alone, don't come in, beware, So I thought, I think there's a message here. Anyway.
So Eleanor Roosevelt said, we do not have to become heroes overnight. Just a step at a time, meeting each thing that comes up, seeing it is not as dreadful as it appears. Discovering that we have the strength to stare it down. One step at a time, one step at a time.
Yeah.
So what are some tools that we can use for helping us with this idea that we're not Mr. and Ms. Fix-It, that we need to let everyone else enjoy their journey, however it looks to them? Well, there are some release statements that we can use. This is one tool that we can use. And they're internal reminders when you feel the weight of someone else's resistance. So how about this, reminding yourself, I am not responsible for their understanding. I am only responsible for my state of being.
Oh, yeah.
It's my own state of being. Here's another one. Their timeline is not my timeline. Their journey is not my journey. Where's all my prayer chaplains? How many times do we talk about that?
Yeah.
Their journey is not my journey. We have to leave that in the hands of Spirit. How about this one? I can be at peace even if they are not. Yeah. And then finally, God is already at work in their life. I don't have to be the messenger. God is already at work. Spirit is already at work. All I have to do is just show up and be the highest expression of the Christ that I can be. Stand at their gate and show them what your garden looks like, right? How about some grounding practices? That's another tool.
That's always a good thing. How many feel like you're grounded? And it's important in this day and age to stay grounded, right? So before a difficult conversation, take 3 deep breaths and you say to yourself, I'm here to love, not to win. Can you say that? And not only can you say it, can you mean it when you say it? I'm here to love, not to win.
Yeah, that harkens back to the third point that we made last week about hard conversations not being battles.
Yeah.
Because it's when we decide we have to win, we have to be right, it becomes a battle, and that's not what it's about. It's about dancing with the person, and you can only do that if you give up the need to be right or to win.
Now, during a tense moment, if you've ever been in an intense moment, put your hand on your heart and you just stop talking. Say with me, stop talking. And say to yourself, I am safe. They are safe. It's okay to say it out loud. Mm-hmm. Love is here. I understand that love is always present. When 2 or more gather, love is present. Mm-hmm. Love is always here. So when we stop and we recognize it, I am safe, they are safe, love is here. And just saying that helps to put you back into that state of being. Right? Because how many understand it's not about your circumstances? Everybody's always worried about their circumstances. And I just want to say, stop it. It's about your state of being. Once your state of being changes, then your circumstances have permission to change. Let's take a breath of that. What about after a hard moment? Gentle movement, prayer, or silence I did my part. I released the rest. In other words, once you've been in a hard moment, most people will react. And some will go to the refrigerator and grab the ice cream bucket, right? Others will boil on the inside. Others will go watch a horror movie or whatever, right? But you want to move gently. How many understand that your body is a living temple? Treat it with gentleness and kindness. When you're putting tension in your body, stress in your body, anger in your body, hatred in your body, struggle, fighting, you're making yourself sick.
Yeah.
Right? So gentle movement, some prayer, or silence.
One gentle movement you can do that's really effective, I think, is to step outside and just take some steps and imagine all that tension, anything that's in you, just dissolving into the ground. Just release it into the ground and let the actual physical ground you. I think that's a very effective way of using movement.
Or go outside, sit in the swing, sit in a chair on your porch. If you don't have one, get a chair and sit it on your porch. Right? Watch the birds, watch the squirrels, and notice the calm. The squirrels, even though they move quickly, they're not in a hurry. Right? Mm-hmm. The birds are just doing their thing. All of nature's perfect peace. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And so when you observe that, and you walk in that, and you sit in that, then you experience it for yourself. Yeah. Wow. So what does this require?
Well, in order for you to really own this idea that you're not responsible for their transformation, there's some things that it requires of you. And one of those things is that you have to have a profound trust in the divine timeline. You really do have to know that right place, right time, everything is unfolding for their highest good, and that what is our timeline is not their timeline, and it is not Spirit's timeline. You really have to lean into that and know that. And then secondly, you have to accept that some people may never see you clearly. And that's okay. They may choose to always hold you to the image of who they knew as a child or as an adult or as a young person, right? You can't do anything about that. All you can do is to continue to show up as you currently are, your beautiful self, and let your garden be seen. That's all you can do. And then you have to have a willingness to love through all of that without any resolution. You have to be willing to hold that space of love, because what is exuding the Christ Spirit, living from that Christ Spirit, is to express and live from unconditional love for everyone, for all. And then finally, it requires that your faith that your peace is not dependent on their approval. And that goes back to one of those points that we covered last week. You don't need anyone's approval to be who you are. You don't need anyone to say that you're okay. You have every right to think as you want to think, to believe as you want to believe, to live as you want to live, and it's okay. You don't need, it's nice to have validation, right? Mm-hmm. But we cannot be depending on that. We cannot depend on other people's approval. And we just have to make peace with that.
Yeah, because here's the secret. This will get you through a lot of stuff. Love is playing the long game. We're playing the long game, right? There are some people who will never accept you. Your family may never fully understand your spiritual journey or even your personal beliefs about anything. Mm-hmm. They may never use your words, attend your church, or stop asking passive aggressive questions. You have people like that in your life? But they can still feel your love. What Maya Angelou say? They won't remember you
What you said,
for what you said
what you did.
or what you did, but for how you made them feel. Mm-hmm. Right? So the goal is not to make them see God the way you see God. The goal is to let them see you. The real you. The growing you. The you that wakes up every morning and begins again to be kind, to be present, to be open. That's the only theology, spirituality, that translates without words. You're speaking a language that is beyond words. Mm-hmm. Right? You're speaking the language beyond words. And when you understand that, you don't have to defend yourself. Right? But you can just be yourself. So you want to give them a final blessing on this?
Well, the final blessing is to speak your truth with tenderness. Honor the path that carried you to this present moment. Release the need to be understood and embrace the call to understand. That's kind of the 4 points summed up.
Say that again.
Speak your truth with tenderness. Speak your truth, but do it with tenderness. Honor the path that carried you to your present moment. Remember that you are who you are today because of all that came before on this journey. Honor that. Release the need to be understood. Embrace the call to understand. Was it St. Francis of Assisi? Not that I might be understood, but that I may understand. C.S. Lewis, there's a quote that's adapted from him that says, I believe in God as I believe in the sun, not because I can see it, but because by it I see everything else.
Beautiful.
So I believe in spirit not because I see it, but because I see it in all of you. Because I see it in everything out in all of nature. It's all around me. That's a beautiful thing. So I'll bet you have questions. I'll bet they have questions.
Maybe. They may be so brilliant that, like, I already knew this stuff. I don't even know why I'm here today. But if you have a question that you would like to ask, we'd be happy to share a little bit. Try not to make it too personal. It's this person I know. You've heard that before, right? We'll all really know, but Anybody have a question? Anything at all about what we've been discussing the last couple of days or last couple of services? Yes. Let me come back there so you can speak into the microphone.
What is an option when someone won't speak or contact or respond at all?
Very good question. What do you think, Leah?
Yeah, I think that is a good question because I hear that from people all the time. I have a child, I have a parent, I have a sibling that, just won't reach out to me. And I think the best thing that we can do is we hold them in the space, just again, leaning into that divine timing, holding them in space, knowing that everything is unfolding for the highest good, continue to pray for them, and just envision that path of communication opening up. Just hold that as an intention and a vision in yourself. See yourself talking to them lovingly, holding them in that space. Just envision that. Just hold that. Because we have the power of imagination, right? And when we hold those imaginative thoughts, that's what we bring into manifestation into this physical realm. So just hold that intention and hold that picture of being in communion with them, being in communication with them. And lean into knowing that it's all in divine timing, right? It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. And in the meantime, just pray for them, pray for their highest good, hold them. Do any forgiveness work you need to do. That's important. Does that answer your question?
Well, you have to believe. Yeah. You have to believe in the divine power more strongly than you believe in their silence or their ignoring of you or whatever it is, because you have to give them to God. You have to say it's their path. Remember, you're playing the what? The long game. And I know that's hard. But the sooner that you can just be with them and allow them to separate themselves, say, okay, then I give you space. I give you that space. And then as you do that, then their energy begins to settle and they begin to think on their own. Now, is this really what I want? And for some reason, they happen to see a movie or a documentary, or they meet someone, or a situation arises, and then they think about you. Sometimes we have to be willing to let somebody go before they can come back to us. Does that make sense?
And let me follow up too with, I tag that on there, and of course do your forgiveness work if you need to. And that's really important. It's not just a tagline to that. It's really important because a lot of times when we have situations where someone has distanced themselves from us, there's been some kind of an altercation. There's been something that happened, and we will sit with that, and we will shame ourselves, and we will blame ourselves, and we will guilt ourselves. And so the forgiveness work is not only for what maybe they did to you, but for the things that you're holding about the situation that maybe you think you influence the situation by behaving a certain way or thinking a certain way. So forgiveness work is important. It's not a throwaway. It's really important.
That's right. All right, who's next? Right here in the front.
Most men, and I'm one of them, have a hard time not trying to fix everything. Okay. And these lessons, and it applies right to that previous question, is to just be able to be supportive and try to help people understand without telling them or fixing what they need fixed.
Yeah, very good.
And it's, as I've been here, I'm finding it's easier to sit back and shut up and just be supportive somewhat, and sometimes it's not so easy.
Thank you. We all thank you. No. All right, we have another one? Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to acknowledge that you're absolutely right. We have a beloved minister, Chad O'Shea, that used to say, the way is easy for those that have no preferences. But we have our preferences. We want to see certain things happen certain ways, but again, just being able to let go, that's important. Hey, Kathy.
So for those of us who have not gotten to where...
Sorry, I thought Kathy had the microphone.
So for those of us who have not gotten to where he has gotten to, where we are no longer jumping into fixing it and trying to control outcomes so that others don't get hurt, how do we tangibly, truly walk into that trusting in divine time, which seems to be a battle that is constantly facing some of us, if not all of us?
You could cut off your tongue, but I wouldn't recommend it.
What?
But you know, in the ancient times, people would say it's better to cut off your hand than to do this or that, because there are a lot of powerful forces inside you, right, that are more powerful even than the physical, and that's the idea. So I'm not saying that you should do that, but what do you say, Leah?
So I would say, if we herald back to the point that talked about honoring your path, what made you the brilliant person that you are today? Going through all of the things that you've gone through in your lifetime, right? And we look at someone and we want to fix them. Why? Because it makes me feel better.
Ooh.
It makes me feel better if they're fixed. But who's to say that they're going through what they're going through to get them to the place that they need, and they need those experiences? And by me trying to override that for them, all I'm doing is creating unnecessary stress for myself and tension in the relationship, possibly, right? I think at the heart of it, to be perfectly honest, is a really selfish need for us to just feel better about it. Why can't we just let people be? Why can't we just let people love who they want to love, believe what they want to believe, do what they want to do? As long as they're not hurting anyone, just let them be. I think 90% of our world's problems would be fixed if we would just let people be. Whenever I try to fix something, I'm coming from this mind, and this mind tends to create more problems than it does provide solutions. When I've got something going on and I find myself sitting in the space of, how am I going to fix this? What am I going to do? That's when I know I need to take it into the silence, and I need to say, I'm going to wait for the answer. Because if I'm trying to fix it, I'm only going to mess it up. So what does Spirit want? What's the answer here? Let it come up for me. And that's what we need to do with people. Just let them be. Be that love. Be available in their lives. But just heal that part of you that needs to fix everything. Because that's the only thing you have any control over anyway, is your own self.
And this idea of fixing people, when you're trying to fix somebody, what you're saying is you're broken. That's what you're really projecting. That's what they're really feeling, is that they are broken. And when you approach somebody and tell them they're broken, they're not good, they're bad, they're wrong, or whatever, how many here love it when people do that to you? Anybody here? Say, oh, I just can't wait for my husband or my wife or my friends or my whoever or my mother or my dad to fix me because I'm so broken. People don't think like that.
Come here, let me fix you.
Thank you.
He had an Elvis thing going on there.
It's a look.
I know.
I was going for the look. Now she messed it up. No, I'm just kidding. So
Exactly. See, when you try to fix something, you mess it up.
when you
Oftentimes.
approach somebody with that idea that they are broken, that they are less than good, right? That's what they feel. So when you point your crooked little finger at them, You better straighten up. I'm telling you, this is, you know. Right? What do? We're playing the long game. You have to bite your tongue. And I'm sure there's a tongue doctor that can put it all back together if need be. Just kidding. Right? We're playing the long game. Anybody else?
And let me just tag on to that too, that in addition to that, maybe you're really trying to do something good for them. You're really trying to make it easier for them, right? So it's like the man on the corner that's got the sign will work for food or whatever, and you think that by giving him $10 that you're helping him. But what if that $10 only winds up buying booze, which winds up just hurting him further? So we do have to have some discernment about what we're trying to fix as well. You know, we may have perfectly good intentions, but we don't know. We just don't know what they need. Everybody's bottom is different. What it takes for me to reach the bottom and realize that there can be some difference in my life, there's something I can do that would bring about a difference in the way that things are, is very different than your bottom, we're all different. So while it looks really hard and rough for whatever they're going through, maybe it's just what they need to get them to that place that they will consider, maybe I can do something different. And you know what? Becky she's really changed. I'm going to ask Becky, what is she doing? I see so much in her. That's when you can step in and help. Because now they're in a place where, I want to think about doing something different.
So I grew up in a black and white world. You know, very simple. Wrong, right. And the biggest thing for me that helped me center myself was unrealized expectations. You know, you're married, and for some reason you expect your wife to get up every morning and cook you breakfast and have it ready when you get up. You've never talked to her about, now, I don't.
Hey!
Oops, there goes my board membership. Anyway, but you've never talked to her about that.
Right.
You just expect it. So I think that's a big thing. If you can let go of some of those expectations, or at least voice them.
Yeah.
So someone can go, stupid. You know, but I mean, that really helped me out a lot.
You're
Very
right.
good.
That's
Thank
very
you.
good.
Yeah,
Very
that's
good.
a good one. Yes.
Oh, I probably shouldn't have raised my hand. So, a majority of everybody in here, and maybe I shouldn't be saying that, is sort of around my age, and they've grown up totally different than the young people in here have. And in my life, in my life, I was busy working. I went ahead and moved all the education, and I just thought they were being educated the same way that I was being educated. So I could focus on, working, family, everything else. And now I find that, no, they've been indoctrinated through a whole set of different values, and I feel like that's part of the reason why, I don't have that type of connection with my children. And now that I realize it, how do I go ahead and address those core concepts? Because they've been sort of raised by somebody else in a way. And so I'm battling with it, and it's like, so I'm social media, and I see these memes, and I'm like, okay, well, let me send that to them. And it's like, and I feel like that is also distant me from them. And we all talk about our pads and stuff like that, but it's like, now I feel like I finally realized where they're at, and it's due to a whole different group of people telling them something different. And I'm sort of lost on that.
So maybe the best answer to that I have in this moment is to go back to that idea to seek more to understand than to be understood. Instead of many times getting into where we want to tell them how we feel about things and we want them to understand why we feel the way we do about things, ask them, why do you think that? Where does that understanding of what you're thinking about there come from? Help me understand how you're thinking about that. How does that bring more joy into your life? Or is that a peaceful thing for you? Engage them. Ask them. How does this make you feel? I see you want to say something. Is that?
It's just like someone had already brought up the whole ghosting thing. I feel like now I'm in the ghosting area.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm going back up to Chicago this time and that time. Oh, I got 3 jobs. I can't go ahead and visit you and talk to you. It's so like,
It's kind of where we're back to that question about what do you do when someone doesn't want to talk to you, or there's that disconnect. It's holding them in that space and envisioning holding that intention of a relationship opening up, communication opening up. I think that's probably and also it kind of all ties in together, doesn't it? Because it's also a little part of the unrealized expectations, because we expect certain things and they're not doing that, and so that hurts. And it's really all just tied in together. Seek to understand, hold a vision, let go of expectations about what it should be or shouldn't be. Let them be on their journey, however that looks. Just all of it.
Yeah.
Does that help at all?
Well, the feelings are inside of them.
Yeah.
They're inside of you, right? Their feelings are inside of them. Somebody comes to you and says, well, I feel like this or that. Then what you have to do is think to yourself, these are their feelings. It's not necessarily true. It's their feeling. How many know that we have different feelings at different times in our lives?
Well, it's not necessarily
Right?
true for you.
Exactly.
It may be true for them. And so a
Right.
great question that we should always use is, tell me more.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Oh, that makes you feel that? Tell me more about that. Because that's how you can get all that stuff out and expose it and deal with it, talk about it,
And there are times when you have to tell people things that are uncomfortable, right? And it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? You want to get yourself in a state of being more open and available, right? You don't want to just pop off and just say, well, when you get into that, you're being reactive, right? You're just being reactive, and that doesn't serve anybody. So you want to respond. The word responsibility is the ability to respond, right? So you want to learn how to respond. And so this is all happening inside of you. But what we do a lot of times is we project our emotions onto the other person. Believe me, I've done it most of my life. I thought everybody felt the way I did. Guess what? They don't. Right? So that's where you have to be aware of your own feelings and your own thoughts and realize that you have a right to feel the way you feel, to think how you think, and to believe what you believe, right? But guess what? So do they. Everybody has a right to feel the way they feel, because you don't know what their journey is.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
Even if you followed somebody around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 30 years, you think you know them, but you still don't know what's going on the inside. All right? Ask Leah about that.
Yeah.
So,
We've gone long this morning, but I hope that everyone has enjoyed this and gotten something out of it. So.
right now is to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, count to 3. 1, 2, 3. And then breathe out. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3. Breathe out. And notice that all the energy inside your body begins to settle down, to relax. In the quiet I am safe. In the darkness I find grace. Light within me, calm and deep. Peace surrounds me when I sleep. Breathe in love, release all fear. Sacred presence dwelling here in the quiet. I am safe in the quiet. I rest. Peace within,
Peace within,
peace all around.
peace all around.
Only love
Only love
is what I found. When the shadows start to rise, I see the truth behind disguise. Every fear dissolves in light, and I am whole, and all is bright. Breathe in love, release all fear. Sacred presence dwelling here in the quiet. I am safe in the quiet. I rest. Peace within,
Peace within,
peace all around.
peace all around.
Only love
Only love
is what I've found. Breathe in love, release all fear. Sacred presence dwelling here in the quiet. I am safe in the quiet. I rest. Peace within,
Peace within,
peace all around.
peace all around.
Only love
Only love
is what I've found. I invite you just to keep breathing. Just keep breathing. There's nothing that can really hurt you unless you allow it. So feel the peace. Notice how you feel on the inside. Be aware of your state of being. Who are you right now? A peaceful, gentle flow of life. a beautiful light, a being of light. That's who you are. You're a river that flows, gentle, alive, beautiful. That's who you truly are. So if you know of someone that you'd like to hold in this moment of prayer, you want to hold space for them, I invite you to whisper their name aloud at this time. And affirm for them their peace, peace of mind, their health, their wholeness, their well-being. I trust the God, the Christ, the Spirit, the presence in you to do the work. I trust life. I trust that Spirit within you. And I see you safe in divine hands. I only want the highest and best for you. I envision a world of peace. I envision people laughing, holding hands, working together. I envision a world that works for everybody. Why not? I see the highest and best for all. And so hold yourself in this light, in this healing time. Allow your body to relax and receive the healing that you need for your body. Letting go of any stress or tension. Let your body be healed now, in this moment. Your emotions are settling. I am at peace now. So let's, for just a moment, know our peace. Experience it deep within for just a moment. So in the name of the highest good for all, we say, so be it. And so it is. Take a moment now to stretch. Feeling alert and awake and ready to go forward. Confident and strong. Amen. All right, who is our platform person today?